chief abbot of this temple. Thank you for inviting me here, and thank you for giving me this opportunity to speak. And with your permission, I'd like to give a short talk to the young people and to the parents too, because everyone's one team. So I know it's very early and you might feel tired. You might feel sleepy. And then if I talk, you might not be able to listen to me. You might not pay much attention. So first I want to make sure that you're awake. That's the first thing we need to do. And we're going to do this in the way that we always pay respect, right? So every time we pay respect, we say one word 3 times. What do we usually do? When the monks say something or you offer something, what is that one word that starts with an S that you say 3 times? Go ahead. Okay, sadhu, yeah. But sometimes I hear some very weak sadhus, right? Like, oh, sadhu. Have you ever been on one of those parades, for the Katina parades? How do the parents say sadhu that time? How do the older people especially say sadhu? Yeah, very loud. So that's what we're going to do today, right? And we're going to do it with our hands. We're going to start off, okay, because I want to make sure that everyone's awake. I want to make sure that your eyes are open, your ears are sharp, and that all your senses are ready, okay? And I don't know if you know this, but the higher you put your hands, the more respect, actually. If you see, you'll see some people put their hands here, some here. And then up here is a lot of respect, okay? So I want you to put your hands up here, also to make sure that you're awake, okay? And this is going to be like a pep rally, okay? If you've ever been at school, if there's a pep rally for the sports, you know how they try to get everyone excited before it starts? So I want on 3, we're all going to say sadhu 3 times, but I want to like hear it really, really loud, like a pep rally, like we're at a football game or a baseball game, okay? This is your chance to express yourself really loud, okay? On 3, 1, 2, 3. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Very good, yeah. Don't ever feel shy to say sadhu. You can say it as loud as you want, okay? No one's ever going to tell you, oh, that's too loud. No. You know, if you would go to Sri Lanka, you'll see during the festival days that people say sadhu, sadhu, screaming. So, okay, if you ever feel like you need to express yourself inside the temple, you can say sadhu, sadhu, sadhu very loud. And it's a good way to get yourself going, because sometimes you're sitting there for a long time and your legs fall asleep, right? You get tired, you're like passing out, right? So that's a good way to get your day started, or to get where the monks tell you to say sadhu. That's a good way to get yourself going again, right? Because no one benefits of like falling asleep, you know? What's the point of even coming? So if you're going to come here, you might as well have a good time. So before I actually give the talk about what Bhante told me, I want to share a moral lesson with you first, okay? So I'm going to do 2 parts. I'm going to tell you a story that has a moral lesson, and then I want to tell you what Bhante asked me to speak about. So I want to share a story with you, a story from the Jatakas. So who knows what the Jatakas are? The kids? Nobody knows? Okay. That just means you need to come to the temple more, or go to Dhamma school. There was a very, very powerful king. All right? Very, very powerful king. And a very good king, a very righteous king. But just like anyone else, they get tired of doing their job, right? Like no matter, you know, if you're the richest person in the world or the most beautiful person or whatever, you get tired of doing whatever you do, right? Everyone gets tired. So he got tired and he wanted to take like a break, right? So he said, I'm going to go on a picnic. So he left his castle, he went to some nice park on a picnic. But while he was gone, there was this big, ugly, smelly monster that showed up in front of his castle. Knocked on the door. One of the guards opened the door. He got scared. He says, what do you want? And the monster said, I'm coming inside. And then the guard said, I can't let you in, you big, ugly, smelly monster. And when he said that, that monster got bigger, uglier, and even smellier. Smellier than your socks when you come home from school. Worse than that. So don't hide them under the bed anymore. You got to put them where you got to put them, okay? Don't leave them in your shoes either. So he broke the door down and he walked inside. And he was going straight through the castle. And another guard came up and he said, stop, you big, ugly, smelly monster. And when he said that, guess what happened to that monster? He got bigger, uglier, and even smellier, right? And he kept going all the way until he got to the king's chamber. And he sat on the king's seat, the royal throne, right? He sat on the seat. And then all the soldiers came out, all the guards came out, pointing their weapons at him. And they all said, "Get off of the king's seat, you big, ugly, smelly monster." And when they said that, he got bigger, uglier, and even smellier. So horrible, right? So bad. Very bad smell. So then, after some time, let's go back to the park. The king decided, well, I had enough of a picnic. It was a nice day. I really enjoyed my day today. I'm going to go back home. Right? So he went back home, and when he shows up to his castle, what does he see? You guys remember? The front door is broken open, right? And he goes inside. He doesn't see any of the guards. No one's around. Right? No one's around, but there's a mess. And he goes all the way to his chamber. And he sees that all the guards are there. And he asks one of the guards, "What happened?" He says, "Oh, sir, while you were gone, your majesty, this big, ugly, smelling monster came to the gate. And we told him to leave." "Well, how did he tell him to leave?" "We told him, 'Get out of here, you big, ugly, smelly monster.' And then he broke in the door." The king's like, "Okay, and then what happened?" "Then he came into the castle. And what did he tell him? We told him, 'Get out of here, you big, ugly, smelly monster.' And then he went into your seat. And we told him, 'Get out of here, you big, ugly, smelly monster.' And what happened? Every time he just kept getting uglier, bigger, and smellier." Well, this king was a very smart king, right? And then he told all his guards, "Pay attention. I'm going to tell you how to treat a guest, right? A guest when they come to my house." He goes up to the big, ugly, smelly monster who's sitting on his seat, right? His guts are all hanging over the seat. He's all funky and everything, okay? He goes up to him. "Excuse me, sir. May you please get off of my seat and leave my castle?" And when he said that, the monster got a little smaller, a little less smellier, and a little prettier. But he wouldn't leave. Then the king told him again, a second time, "Please, sir, may you please leave my castle?" And when he said that, the monster got even smaller, a little prettier, a little less smellier. Then the king told him again, "Please, sir, may you leave my castle?" Right? And he's got smaller, a little prettier, and a little less smellier. Now the fourth time that the king was going to say this, the monster thought to himself, right? Every time the king treats me nice, I get smaller, I get prettier, and I get smellier. If I stay here long enough, I'm going to disappear because I keep getting smaller. So the monster got scared and he just ran out of the castle, and no one ever saw him again. So sometimes we judge people by the way they look because they might be different, right? Or we think because someone treats us bad, we should treat them bad too. "He said this to me, Mom. That's why I told him that. She pushed me, Mom, so I pushed her back. He hit me, so I hit him back. He took my toy away, so I took his away." Right? That person's ugly. I don't want to hang out with them. That person looks different. This is our group, especially when you're in high school and teenagers. We're the cool group. This is our group, and we don't want you in our group. You can't sit with us because you look different, because you act different. We shouldn't treat people different because they look different, speak different, have different ideas, right? And if people are mean to us, we shouldn't be mean back. And if people push us, we shouldn't push back. Okay? The lesson of this is that if you do not treat people with respect, it will have bad consequences. Right? That's what happened. They didn't try treating that monster with respect first, right? The first guard told him, "Get out of here, you big, ugly, smelly monster." That's not a very nice thing to say. You always have to treat everyone, regardless of how they look like, where they're from, or anything, with respect in the beginning. Right? And if they do treat you bad, your job is not to treat them bad back. Right? As a child, your job is to, if they're really bad, let an adult know. Let your teacher know, let your parents know, or let your older brother, if they're a teenager older than you, or they're an adult. Let somebody else know. That's your job. Your job is not just to keep arguing back and forth, or to treat people bad. You're not in that position to make that kind of choice. Right? You have to turn to an adult, someone who can, has more experience and a little more intelligence than you. I know you think you're very smart because you know how to use tablets and your computers and all of that. That doesn't mean much in the real world. Your tablet and your computers and your Wii's, that doesn't show how smart you are or how much you know about the world. Just because you're able to go on Netflix doesn't mean anything. Okay? Your parents might not know how to use the technology, right? Sometimes you think your parents are not as smart as you because they don't know how to use the technology. But that's a totally different thing. Okay? So please, always treat people with respect. Even if they don't deserve it. Even if they don't deserve it. That's their problem if they want to be bad people. If they want to treat you unfairly. That's their karma, right? That's their karma if they want to be bad. But we shouldn't be like that. I'll give you one example from the time of the Buddha. There was this man who was really, really upset at Lord Buddha. And he came up to him. And he pointed at the Buddha, and he started shouting and screaming and telling him many, many things at Lord Buddha. Many things, accusing him of many things, saying harsh words. I can't say some of those words. Many things. Many, many bad things to Lord Buddha. But Lord Buddha didn't say anything. He just looked just like that. Nothing changed. Not even an eyebrow lifted up or anything. Not even a little smirk or anything. Buddha stayed just like that. Eventually the man got tired, he got frustrated, he left and he went home. But when he got home, he started thinking, right? I tried to abuse him and say all these things, but he didn't do anything. He was just there, nice and quiet. Nice and serene and beautiful. Maybe I was wrong. Maybe I was wrong. And he said, yeah, I was wrong. And then when he figured out that he was wrong, he got scared. He says, I did a very bad thing. Right? That's supposed to be the Buddha. And he was very, very nice to me. He didn't say anything, and I kept insulting him, and treating him badly. I did a really bad thing. Now I heard if you treat a very nice person bad, especially a holy person, you'll get bad consequences, bad karma, and you'll have to pay for it in the future. So he was so scared that night, he couldn't go to sleep. It was very difficult for him. So then the next morning, he went back to Lord Buddha. And he went up to him, he bowed this time, all the way down, like you do to the monks. And he said, Venerable Sir, please excuse me. I was crazy yesterday. Please forgive me for what I did. The Buddha said, I'm not going to forgive you. And he got scared, right? Oh, the Buddha's not going to forgive me. But the Buddha said, I'm not going to forgive you because I don't have to forgive you. You're not the same person that you were yesterday. Yesterday, another man came here, and he was very mean. He was very aggressive. But today, you are another man. This man is very respectful, very nice, and he admits his mistakes. Right? You are a totally different person now. But since you want to be forgiven, I forgive you, although I don't have to, because you've already changed your ways. Okay? Now you're a good man. So here's a good example of the Lord Buddha, right? If we are Buddhists, we have to follow the Buddha's example. When he was attacked, when he was treated badly, he didn't do anything. He just stayed calm and nice. And then later, when someone came to apologize, he accepted their apology. Right? He didn't try to make them feel bad for what they did. Also, we have to practice like that. When your brother or sister, maybe they realize what they did to you the day before, earlier that day wasn't so nice, you have to forgive them. You have to be like that. You have to be nice. Your job is to be nice, even if they were a jerk. That's your job. Like Lord Buddha. Lord Buddha did not, he could have said, yeah, you did a very bad thing and scolded him, but he didn't. That's a waste of time. If somebody has enough guts or they realize that they did something bad to admit it, That's good enough, okay? So please don't hold any grudges with your brothers or sisters or cousins or family members. If someone admits that they did something wrong, that's the second part, please forgive them. Especially because you have to live with them. You have to see their face every day. It makes life easier for you, okay? So that's the moral lesson I wanted to share with you. But now I want to share with you something about this katina ceremony and about the importance of the katina ceremony. Because I know when the monks are, and if you're really, really small, then these teenager boys over here have something to share even with the younger ones. They have more information to share with you. And this is all about sharing information and working together to try to build a better community, for you to have a better life here, right? It's very, very difficult. It's not as easy. Your parents have to sacrifice so much. They had to leave their country. They had to leave all their friends. They had to leave their family. They had to come to this foreign place, right? Imagine if I were to get you right now and drop you off in Ukraine. What would you do? You don't even know Ukrainian, right? And no one looks like you. And no one follows the same religion as you. Or anything. You'd be totally alien in an alien world. That's what your parents did. Or their parents. Right? Someone came before you and did all that work. So you have to appreciate, what they did. It's like if they were to get, so maybe some of you experienced this where your parents, you guys moved and they took you from one school to another. Did you like that? Any of you who went through that? You had to leave all your friends behind? You had to make new friends? All of that. They had to leave all of that behind. Imagine if you couldn't see any of your friends anymore if they were to move you somewhere else. You wouldn't like that very much, would you? But your parents did that for you in order for you to have a better life. They sacrificed so much, all these things, for you to have a better life and succeed. So you have to really pay attention, okay? Don't be self-centered, just thinking about what you can get here and all because all your friends are Americans and they tell you all these other ideas. Don't listen to them, right? They're just kids like you. They don't know much besides like how to play Minecraft and stuff like that. If you want to know about Minecraft, you can listen to your friends. If you want to learn how to succeed in life, you have to listen to your parents. Minecraft is good for your friends and everything else, your parents and family. But I want to finish on one note. Out of all the kids, who knows what katina means, this word katina? Nobody? Have you gone to any other katina ceremonies this year? Raise your hand, kids, if you went to a katina ceremony this year already. No? You? So, okay, very good. Thank you for being honest. I know that at least, minimum, 2 times during the katina ceremony, a monk will explain what katina is. Once in English and once in Sinhalese. Actually. Every single one, right? Sometimes it even becomes repetitive, how much they talk about the importance of katina, why we're doing it. Every time they give the monk the microphone, they repeat the same thing in the beginning. I don't know if you've noticed that, if you're paying attention. So if you were paying attention, what does katina mean? Or if you have an idea, what do you think katina means? Can you guess? No? Nothing? Oh, you need to listen when you come to these ceremonies. Just don't fall asleep in the back or play with your parents' iPhone. That's not what you should be doing when you're in these ceremonies. Katina means solid, concrete, right? So we're offering a robe. This robe is called the katina robe, the solid robe. Why is it called the solid robe? Because the monks were practicing the precepts, they were practicing strict teachings of the Buddha for 3 months. Right? So it was made solid. Their practice was a solid practice. It was like a 3-month retreat. That's why it's called the katina robe. It's the solid robe. That you can offer robes anytime during the year. You probably offer robes all the time. But this one is special. Because the monk had to stay in one place. You kind of kidnapped him. And he couldn't leave. You had him as a prisoner here. And he was stuck when you invited him. And he had to follow certain rules. Right? He couldn't go on vacation to Hawaii for a week while he was here. There's certain things that he couldn't do. And he had to practice to a certain extent, really strictly. So that's why this robe is so special. It's symbolic of all the work that monk did. All the work that actually the whole community did. That your families did coming every week, preparing for all the pujas, and everything, preparing for this ceremony, getting everyone ready, waking you up, dealing with you every morning when you didn't want to come here, or in the afternoon. All that work is in this robe, actually. Everything that you did is put into this robe. And everything that the monks did is put into this robe. That's why this robe is so powerful. That's the katina. And out of all the physical dhammas that you can give, out of any material thing that you can give in this world, the katina robe is the highest material thing that you can give. So, I want you not only to think about the katina robe as the most important thing, but we got to get this message of solid, right? Katina means solid or concrete. We have to get this message of solidness and not only apply it to the robe, but we have to make the whole sangha solid, concrete, katina. Actually, the whole point of this is to bring everyone together. Not only the monk was here practicing strictly, but everyone did a lot of work. Everyone was working together. This is the part of the year where the whole Buddhist community works the hardest and stays together. So katina is not only for the monk or for the robe, but for everyone. We all had a very solid and stable practice these last couple months. That's what the katina is all about. It's about bringing the sangha together. The monks stay in one place, the people support the monks, everyone's working together for 3 months. That's the advice that the Buddha said about the Vajrayans. That's the advice that the Buddha told Ananda about the sangha. And we have to keep practicing now. And we've been practicing for over 2,000 harmony. Not abandoning the old rules, keeping your old ways, keeping the culture, and respecting the elders. That way you can be successful in life. Materially and spiritually, which is the most important thing. The ultimate happiness and bliss of nirvana. But we can only do that if we work together. If we are also katina, solid in our practice, and stay together solid. So at the end, I know I went over my time a lot, but I always like to open the floor up for the children. Because I know sometimes kids don't want to ask the older monks, they feel a little shy like it's their grandparents, to ask them any questions about Buddhism. You know, but I hope I'm not that old, so hopefully you feel a little more comfortable with me. If you have any questions about the teachings of the Buddha or any other parts of this ceremony today or anything that you did today or that you've done in the past in any ceremonies, please ask. Because if you're thinking it, someone else is thinking it, but they're too shy to say anything. Any questions about Buddhism? About ceremonies? Is there anything you've ever wanted to ask a monk? No? Alright, so hopefully I can catch you later on during the day, during the ceremony, and if you're too shy, you can ask me in private later on, okay? So with this, I'll be concluding my talk. I want you to remember the story that I told you about the Vajrayans. I want you to remember the story about the Jataka. And I forgot to tell you that during that time, the king was the Bodhisattva. Bodhisattva is the Buddha, right? The Buddha was the king during that time. So you can see how the Buddha practiced during many lives, all these things. So with this, I'll be concluding my talk. And then Bhante will continue with the rest of the ceremony.
Thank you, Bhante. So, at the end of the talk, you need to show that we are still awake. How can you do it? Do the same thing he advised. On the very first moment you start talk, so that we are still awake. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Are you satisfied with that chant?
No, but
you need to do it again.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. That was better, Bhante.
Thank you very well, sir.